These are the 6 top spot cleaners you can currently get from Bissell, but Bissell has added new products to their spot cleaning line. But let me go over what they are currently offering. So they have the Bissell Little Green machine here. This is going to be their tried and true most popular spot cleaner. Then you have the Bissell Little Green SpotClean Pro here, and then you have the SpotClean Pro Pet. Both are actually for pets. It just comes down to, on the blue version, you get the deep stain tool, and the purple version, you'll be receiving this, which is going to be the stain trapper tool. Then you have the classic here, which is going to be on the SpotClean Clean Pro, and this is going to be really ultimately very similar to all 3 of them, because these 2 will come with about a 20-foot cord and a 5-foot hose, and here you get a 22-foot cord and a 5-foot hose. So not a huge difference. They all come with the same 5.7 amp motor. Now, if you look at the Bissell Little Green machine, it's the same thing. You have a Bissell Little Green machine, and you have the Bissell Little Green machine Pet Deluxe. Now the Pet Deluxe is coming with additional attachments, but everything else in terms of features are going to be the same. And then you have the Bissell Little Green ProHeat, which is going to be the Little Green machine, except the motor is going to be able to heat up the water. But because the water tank is not that big, you generally want to start with warm or hot water before you use the ProHeat. And that's just a tip for everybody. This is coming with the smallest of the dirty water and the hot water tanks, but also it is the lightest and the most portable out of the group. These are all the same. They're going to come with very similar attachments. It's just that on the blue version, you might get the deep stain tool. On the purple version, you might get the stain strapper tool. On the pet clean version, you might get a different tool. So depending on which variation you get, it's going to affect which tool you're getting as an attachment. But in terms of the overall mechanics, they're basically all the same here in this Pro line. They look the same. They have the same handles. They have the same power button. Almost all the features here are identical. Bissell already has a ton of spot cleaners on the market, but Bissell has released probably their best spot cleaner yet, which is going to be the Bissell Little Green Hydrosteam Pet. And I'm going to tell you why that one might be better than all of these. So the secret to any spot cleaner is that it's ultimately a laundry machine for different materials. So if you think about it, what do you do with your clothes? You throw them in the wash, it's going to add water, it's going to add solution, it's going to toss it around, and then it's going to rinse it. This is the same process that you have on a spot cleaner. You're adding the water, you're adding the solution, you're going to extract the water, then you're going to re-add water and extract the water, agitate, and then remove the stain. You want to make sure that your machine has the proper brushes so that it can agitate it and break it up if there's any clunked on or dried on stains. And then you want the extraction. So you want a powerful motor to have enough extraction to lift out the stains. The Bissell Little Green Hydrosteam Pet could be the best spot cleaner Bissell has ever made, and Bissell has made a lot of them, as you can see here. And let's explain why you might want to consider the Hydrosteam for your next spot cleaner, or to replace any of your old ones as well. So this is the Bissell Little Green Hydrosteam, and this spot cleaner has a lot of changes that Bissell's made, and I'm quite happy with a lot of these changes because we saw this first with the Revolution Hydrosteam, where Bissell started adapting and finally updating some of these features after over these years. And on the Little Green Hydrosteam Pet, which has this kind of like plaque-like design, you can see that on the dirty water tank, they have a frosted area around both sides so that it's not going to look as dirty when you look right at the tank. So now you have a knob. This is going to be controlling your 3 modes. It has a larger, easier to grip handle, in my opinion. It's just ever so slightly bigger, and I think because they placed the knob here, they want to make sure your fingers don't get caught with that knob. Now let's do a quick comparison between the Bissell Little Green Hydrosteam Pet here and the Little Green machine here, as well as the Little Green machine Pro right here, and this is the Pro Pet. So let's look at the overall specs of the Hydrosteam. This weighs 13 pounds. It has a dirty water tank here, and it comes with a 64-ounce clean water tank. On the Hydrosteam, they are using a lid. And I think the lid is a lot easier because look how long it takes me to undo this versus just pop open the lid. And they did that because Bissell was using these bottles for their solution that we would just place on top and squeeze it in. And now they're figuring out, well, most of us would just rather pour it in ourselves or add it before we add the water. Make sure to keep it closed. There is some tactile feedback as well as a small sound that's going to indicate that your lid is closed. And if you look at the height of each of these handles, I do got to say, because there's nothing sticking out on either side of the Hydrosteam, and because it's taller than on the Little Green Pro here, it's just, I find this handle is just easier to hold. And it's going to be a little bit thicker, it's going to be a little bit wider, it's just going to feel more natural in the hand, and there's nothing in front of it or behind it that you have to slide in your hand to hold. Here, you can't touch or end up hitting your knuckles on either one of the tanks. This, you really don't have to worry about it, except you do have to keep in mind that there is the power knob right in the center. And because the Pro versions are coming with 32 ounces of additional water capacity in their clean water tank, which also translates to more dirty water that you can store inside the dirty water tank, that means you can basically use this longer and not have to empty out the tanks as frequently as you would do it on the Hydrosteam. The Hydrosteam's biggest weakness will be that if you're using it with steam, not only is it using solution just like a traditional wash, but it's using water to create and produce the steam. So now let's compare the Hydrosteam to the Bissell Little Green machine. The Little Green machine weighs 9.65 pounds. So this comes with a 3-inch stain tool. It comes with a 3-amp motor. It comes with a 15-foot power cord. It comes with a 4-foot hose, which is 1 foot less than on the Hydrosteam. It comes with a 48-ounce clean tank and dirty tank. They're the same size, so they're going to be the same capacity. On the ProHeat comes with a 37-ounce clean tank. And if you're looking at the Little Green Pro or the Little Green Pro Pet or the SpotClean Pro, these guys are going to weigh 13.25 pounds or 13.5 pounds, depending on which variation you get. It's coming with a 5.7 amp motor. It's going to be coming with a 20-foot power cord, but the non-Little Green versions has a 22-foot power cord. So if you're using your Hydrosteam just on steam, make sure to use it with clean water. I know I'm using mine with tap, and I've been using all of my steams with tap. Now, I use my Hydrosteam with tap water, and I know some people are always like, oh, well, I can only use distilled or I can only use purified. It really depends on how hard your water is at your home. Because I know with the heat, I might have to descale my Hydrosteam, but that's as easy as just using it with vinegar. That is the easiest way to descale your machine. Use it with vinegar. If you're trying to figure out what the difference is between steam wash, wash, and steam, well, let me make it easy for you. If you just do steam, it's just going to be using steam. If you use wash, that means it's just using the spray. If you use steam wash, it's using the spray and steam in tandem. And that should make it easy for everybody, because if I use steam wash, that means I'm basically using as the spot cleaner with the steam as the bonus add-on feature. If I just use it on steam, it's just using it on steam. And if I just use it on wash, it's just going to be a spot cleaner, and it's not going to heat up the water. It's not even going to heat the water like you would get on the ProHeat. So in the user manual, Bissell even includes a chart explaining what they recommend or which mode they recommend depending on what stain is or the floor time. So they're saying for beverages like coffee, cola, fruit juice, red wine, use it on steam wash or steam. For oily messes like cooking grease, pasta sauce, use it on steam wash or steam. So for sticky messes like chocolate syrup, honey, and jelly, use it on steam wash, not steam alone. And then for other messes like pet stains and dairy, they say use it on wash because you don't want to add heat for milk. And this is a 2011 red, so lots of sulfates here. So first I'm going to run the test on the Bissell Hydrosteam, and we're just going to make sure everything is in order. So we're going to try this on fresh stains. Remember, this is orange juice, this is wine, and this is ketchup. We're going to be running a comparison between the Little Green machine, the Little Green Pro, and the Little Green Hydrosteam. Let's get to it. We're going to turn our unit on. We're going to turn this on to steam wash. So we're on steam. We're just going to release the steam here. You can see how long it takes. So I just use the steam as a pre-treat, actually. The Hydrosteam really shines on things like orange juice because it has a high sugar content, and even though it's acidic so it can really go down deep in the carpet fibers, we didn't let it really dry that long, so it's only been about 30 minutes since we poured the orange juice onto this carpet. So it comes out relatively easy, but the wine is a much stiffer test, so you will see how deep that wine can get in, and that's really because of the tannins. So those tannins are going to be bonding with the fibers of the carpet, making the stain even more difficult to remove. Ketchup is something that I think the Hydrosteam exceeds and excels in versus its competition, and that's really because of the steam. So we filled our water tank. We're using the same amount of solution as the Hydrosteam, and let's get to it here. First, you just want to turn it on.
The Bissell Little Green machine still packs a powerful punch, and I really think that's because of the smaller 3-inch tough stain tool, and it still carries a relatively powerful motor. So it does make good work out of all 3 stains, but it's not going to do as well as the Hydrosteam or the Pro model. And I think that's related to the overall suction power, because the Bissell Little Green machine is great at adding solution, but it won't be as powerful as the other two in terms of removing. The Bissell Little Green is a solid choice. It's also the most affordable choice out of the group, and it's still going to be good enough for most upholstery and most small stains that you're going to get on your carpet, but it won't be powerful enough if you got some of those heavy, deeper stains.
So we used almost the entire tank here. So we just have about 10% remaining. Our dirty water tank is full, so that's why we stopped. And that's how much we got out. So we're gonna let this dry and let's see how the results came out for the Little Green machine. And now let's go on to the Little Green Pro. So we're gonna use the deep stain tool. It's gonna let us go deeper into the fibers of our carpet here. I'm gonna turn it on. There's only one button.
The Little Green Pro, and by extension the SpotClean Pro, is a classic. It has a large tank, and that large tank allows you to use a lot of water very quickly to get the stain out as quickly as possible, while having a large enough dirty water tank that's not going to have to be emptied every 10 minutes. So you can do a lot of work with your SpotClean or Little Green Pro. Just remember, they're going to be the heaviest of the bunch, and when you have that much water inside of the tank, it's going to reach about 20 pounds. So here is the tool. The deep stain tool is my favorite tool that you can get on any of the Bissells, and that's because it directly injects the solution into the fibers of your carpet or upholstery, and it does a great job just combing for water and extracting as much water as possible every time. However, I found it interesting that it performed the best with ketchup, it performed the worst with orange juice, and it did a good job with the wines, on par with the Hydrosteam actually. So that was very impressive on its own.
And I get it, you're like, okay, I get the Hydrosteam is good, but what about the ProHeat? So this is just a spot cleaner. This is the Little Green ProHeat, and the ProHeat definitely will not get as hot, not even close to what you would get on the Hydrosteam. Also, in terms of overall effectiveness, it's not going to have the same suction power that you get on the Hydrosteam. So if you had to decide between these two, I would definitely take the Hydrosteam over the Bissell Little Green Pet ProHeat, but the ProHeat is going to be a lot lighter. So if you want lighter weight, the ProHeat here is going to be tremendously light compared to the Hydrosteam, but the Hydrosteam weighs just about 3 or 4 more pounds, which means if this can work a lot better than this, then it stands all the reason to just get the Hydrosteam, right? And the ProHeat uses the heat from the motor to heat up the clean water tank so that you can have better performance on spots, but it's not going to be anywhere close to the temperature, at least in terms of heat, that you would get on the Hydrosteam. Remember, the Hydrosteam gets really hot. You can potentially burn yourself. And because it takes so long to heat up cold water utilizing the motor here, it's just not a real effective way to bring in heat to your cleaning process. You most likely want to start with heat to begin with. Where the Little Green ProHeat is really good is that because of its smaller size, it actually uses less solution overall, which means it's going to have the shortest drying times. But don't get confused, because the Hydrosteam also has very short drying times. In the end, the steam function here is going to give you drying times about 25 minutes. But if I'm using it on steam wash or wash, this is going to have the same drying times that you would get on a SpotClean Pro or a Bissell Little Green machine. You basically just have to wait until it's dry.
So ultimately, who was our winner? Well, it was a really close call, but the Little Green Hydrosteam is our winner, but the Little Green Pro was a close second. The Hydrosteam and the Little Green Pro are basically going to be equal for wet messes, and that's a good thing, because the Pro, anything that doesn't require the steam, is going to be as good, if not slightly better, because it has the bigger tank and it's going to be more convenient, even though it has a much higher weight because you just have more liquid. But the Hydrosteam is not that light, especially when you have the tank full. But I do think the balance on the Hydrosteam is going to be better, and the handles and just the overall maneuverability is going to be easier with the Hydrosteam, and that's just because of how it's constructed. The Hydrosteam is the only one that has 3 different modes, because all the other ones is basically on or off, and If you're wondering, do I think the Little Green machine is better than the ProHeat? Yes, I think the Little Green machine is going to be better than the Bissell ProHeat because the Bissell ProHeat is small, but it's not that powerful, and the Bissell Little Green machine is iconic for a reason because even today it is one of the best carpet spot cleaners you can get. So with that, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box below and hit that like or subscribe button because it really does help support our channel. And I'll catch you next time. This is Dave with the French Glow signing off. Bye, bye, bye.